Chief Financial Officer of VGB Investment LLC. Recently involved in the energy, textiles, petrochemical, manufacturing, and international import and export trading industries. He received his bachelor's degree in business administration from Texas Southern University prior to graduating from executive management training program at Chase Manhattan Bank. And I would tell you personally that he is one of the most informative individuals on international business, and is really going to bring a wealth of information to you. So Mr. Petrie, if you will join us.
Website. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have as much time to take questions as I'd like, but I would like if you would write down a business question that you've had that you haven't had a chance to ask that hasn't been answered, and I'll get back to you. And the reason is you have so much to do, as I look at you as CEOs of your organization, that part of your challenge is always how to get more out of your organization with the resources you have without taxing yourself more, because you're already struggling to find time for your mission, your vision, your family. And the answer is, it's sitting out in the pews. You all have members who are very active, who you know who you can depend on. But you have engineers and architects and CPAs and lawyers who are on no committees, no missions, they're there every Sunday. You've never reached out and said, I need to see you after service in the kitchen. And said to them, listen, I've got a mission. I come here and I do what I'm supposed to do. I'd like you to form a think tank because I need some extra brain power. Now, you don't have to go out in front of the congregation. You don't have to stand up and speak. You have to go in the back, meet once a week. I need ideas. I need you to tell me in our community, and define your community, because I know a lot of you have missions that go to Africa, that go to South America. Define your community. I don't mean the ground around the building. And have them give you ideas on how church can make money. Don't worry about conflicts with your nonprofit status. You've got lawyers that'll tell you how to handle that, or whether you can handle it. What you want is as many fresh concepts and ideas from the people who you know. I can stand here and give them to you, but you don't know me. And you'll find out it's very hard to reach me. I work for my brother, and he keeps me busy. But what you can do is formulate a think tank inside your own building. They can start to generate the process you've been hearing over the last couple of days of change. I won't give you percentages or ratios, but I know from group dynamics, less than 50% of you are going to change. Human nature. It's too hard. It's easier to do the same old thing expecting a different result. I think the definition of that is crazy, but you do want to let others, though, help you get to where you need to go. I said to Bishop Long, as I drove in, a lot of beautiful cars in the parking lot. I wonder where they get them detailed. I think you all need to be certain you have your contact to the Embassy Chamber of Commerce. So when you get back and you start getting ideas, you can contact them, and they'll tell you how to put a fully automated car wash on a piece of property with the revenue stream coming back into the church. Oh, does that generate jobs? Yes. Does it have to only be one car wash? Depends on where you live. I live outside the box, so to me it's very comfortable. I fight people trying to compartmentalize me. This product is starchware. You might have heard it mentioned yesterday and again. It's a reality. It sits there. That's made out of cornstarch. Not the corn. You can still eat it and process it and do lots of good things with it. It's made out of the stalk and the waste. Ground up, dehydrated, processed, compacted, and there it is. It'll replace Styrofoam. For those of you who don't follow the medical side of American life, we're the only developed country on the planet that still allows our humans to interact with Styrofoam. It's illegal in Japan. It's illegal in China. I don't mean they frown on the use of it. It's illegal to use it when giving food stuff to humans. Because as a carrying case, it's fine. But the minute you put it in a microwave and you bombard it, it gives off toxins that are proven to give you cancer. Now, I can say that because the people from Dow Chemical aren't here, and you're not going to tell them I said that. Because they're going to run out and sue me and make sure that statement never gets out. That's why they still produce it in the United States, because they're one of the top corporations, and nobody's going to stop them. Well, the answer is, in my kingdom assignment, and yes, people who are not ministers and preachers have kingdom assignments. Sometimes it takes us a while to find out we have them, but we keep praying and we keep saying, why do I know what I know, and what am I supposed to do with this? And the answer is, just keep, I'll let you know. And eventually, Bishop Long and other people who are on the forefront, the cutting edge of what we will be doing next year, 10 years, 20 years, long after I'm gone, come together and we say, you know, it's time. And so I understand that all my years of training and international life, and I didn't give you my resume for a reason. It's only relevant to the fact that I've lived in every major religious culture on the planet. Lived. I don't mean traveled to, I mean lived. So I've lived with Muslims, I've lived with Jews, I've lived with Catholics, I've lived with Christians, Buddhists, Taoists, so on. So when you talk about religion, I have a concept of how that interacts with humans. I didn't say Americans, I said humans. One of the things that we will be doing is trying to get the good news across the planet. You've been working hard at it, I'm sure, for quite a few years. I'm just getting started. But mine is through commerce. Mine is through business manufacturing, and you start at home. We're going to lose manufacturing jobs. We're going to make manufacturing jobs in 9 different states. That is one product. That product, your children and grandchildren will be using in their school, because they give them Styrofoam at school. That came out of, the concept, the research and the copyright came out of mainland China. That's important for one reason. That government is a communist form of politics. So they catch their people at both ends. They have to make them jobs, they have to feed them, but they have to also take care of their hospitalization. Styrofoam had to go because it was making money, it was making employment, but it was making more people sick with a higher price tag, so they needed a substitute. So they could afford to send 500 people, engineers, technicians, and researchers to find a substitute. In this country, you have to have 500 million to go do that research. It's been done for us. It's been delivered for us. Bishop Long mentioned solar power. Alternative energy has been an interest of mine for almost 25 years. I was working with a gentleman in Houston who was from India. He was in the United States working on his PhD. And Houston, of course, is the mecca for oil companies. And when he proposed using wind generation, shortly thereafter, after a conference, he was deported. Now here we are. President Obama is telling you, it's here. You're going to see those windmills spinning all over America. And we're going to embrace it because we all got very angry at $4 a gallon gasoline. And we said, finally, enough. When it went to 3, it was bad. We grumbled a little. We didn't say much. But when it went to 4, it triggered something in us that said, okay, enough. There's got to be a better way. And that's what it takes, a culture to decide there must be a better way. There are alternatives. They do exist. There are people who know how to find those and bring those. Now, to make this relevant to your coming together here, I believe that the kingdom comes when we do what we're supposed to in each individual church and collectively as church for the members of our church. That will give them employment. That will increase the revenues inside the building. It will increase the standard of living outside the building. And you will learn this international thing because globalization is here. When you send a mission out to Africa, please do not let them travel with just Bibles. Make certain they're a licensed representative of some manufacturing company of the United States. Now, for everyone who's going to come up with the next series of questions, well, how do we pay for them? We can't get money from the banks. Simple solutions. Write down XM, EXIM, Bank. Export-Import Bank of America has been around to do nothing more than to give you the money you need to buy an American product and send it export to a foreign country. As a minimum, you should know the regional manager of your Exim Bank near your church. Write down United States Department of Commerce. Billions of dollars of money available to help you learn how and do the business of exporting American products. Remember, I started by saying I didn't want you to do more work? That's what your think tank is for. They'll bring it back to you, and as a CEO, you'll review it. If you have a youth ministry going on, you have probably some of the most ingenious young people with a keyboard to do all the research and background work you'd ever need. You just have to ask them. Can you reduce the car wash industry for me to a 10-page term paper report and have it to me by the end of the month? And they will go through the internet and they'll find everything there is to find out about car washes and which ones are the best and how much they cost. And they will give you a report. And by the time you're finished, you just have to say this one or this one. You can do that on any subject. Use the resource in the house. They have assignments too. They're waiting to be a blessing to you, but you have to call on them. Because you heard the people I was describing, those aren't the people who are going to jump up and be the first to volunteer. They're your strategic thinkers. They're your visionaries. They're your dreamers. They're in a youthful format. Give them an assignment. Let them show you that they can do the work for you. Once you do one of these little projects and you realize how little time it takes you, pastoring the church, to get this done, to get this stream of money in that you can use for whatever you want, you will do a number of these things. And as a banker, I'm here to tell you, the best time to start a business is in a recession. Because everything you need and want is cheaper. And some of the best talented people to run these operations are recently being laid off from other major companies and would love nothing more than to come help the church. This is a cycle. Business is a cycle. Unfortunately, I can't tell you this is finished. It's not. Oil prices are going back up. This will continue for another 6 to 9 months. And worse than that, the rest of the world follows the United States by 6 to 9 months. So we're out 12 to 18 months in the future before you see the bottom. Plenty of research time, plenty of time to get planned, plenty of time to get organized and get started, so that as it rises, you will be in a position to capture that wealth for the church. The Embassy Chamber of Commerce is important to you because it is the type of vehicle, and I'm certain when you reach out to Bishop Long, he will show you how to be in touch with him, how to communicate with him, so that you understand how to preserve the nonprofit status of the church and how to be in business. A nonprofit can legally own a corporation, but a corporation cannot own a nonprofit. So there are rules. He's already set up a team of people who understand that, who can answer those questions for you. You don't have to do that research. You don't have to pay that legal cost. You just have to interact with the Embassy Chamber. Solar power. Our company is in the process of assessment on this campus so that we can take and unplug this from the grid and plug in solar power in phase 1. Phase 2 is to plug in enough solar power so we make a profit on it. We become a mini utility. That's the new direction of the church. For a year and a half, I was banker to the Vatican, lived in Rome, worked for a top Fortune 10 company, not 500, not 100, Fortune 10 company. Largest corporation on the planet, Catholic Church. Largest landowner on the planet, Catholic Church. So as we scramble to make up the difference in 25 and 30% in the plate, what are we not using? We're not using the resources of the great United States of America that are here now. The new president has to give you more resources. He's got to stop this trend. So we'll find that we'll end up with tax consideration for solar power in addition to what we have. We'll end up with considerations for green products. This breaks down in 6 months in a landfill. Municipalities are excited because it's going to save them a fortune on their budget by having this go in the ground instead of styrofoam or plastic. Then I'll tease you with something else. This product, in its next generation, uses nanotechnology and can be possibly your car door, your automobile bumper. In other words, we just scratched the surface with plates, knives, and forks, and a drinking cup. The technology will take us to where we need to go. Use the people who understand, who are fascinated by the technology, to translate it into how the church makes money. By doing that, you'll generate jobs, stability in the congregation, and an increased focus on folks coming to church. Yes, there will be streaming, and yes, there will be a number of new ways to participate, but we need people in the building, because that interaction generates a different result than us on our solo route sitting on the sofa watching it stream. Good, it's the word. We need it. We're looking for it. But the building holds more potential than you're utilizing. I applaud Bishop Long. I'm pleased that I had a chance to come and hear and see and participate. I encourage you, that 50% of you who are going to go away from this and do certain things differently to understand this can be the answer that you're looking for. Put business people in business with your church. Use the embassy chamber to show you how to do that, to partner with you in doing that. You won't increase your workflow, you'll increase your revenues. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to wish you Godspeed. All.
I want everyone to stand and give Brother Petrie another wonderful hand of appreciation. And now, I do want you to take a moment to come up here, Ed, and who else is with the embassy with you? Anyone on the committee, on the steering board? Come. Come up here.
For pastors who are interested in getting more information on converting your churches, if you'll complete those and get them back to Tangela, then that will help tremendously.
Where's Tangi? Tangi's in the back. Come on up front. Now, beg pardon? Yeah, stand up front. Number one, I don't think you recognize the gift that was offered when Brother Petrie got up. He said, if you had a business question, write it down and he'll answer it. He'll get to you. Now, you're not going to be able to call him direct. And if you did have a question, or after all you've heard, I would write it down and lay it on the altar, or give it to Tangi and put how to be contacted, because you can't call him. He offered you a gift in that, and I didn't want that just to go over your head. We did not put anyone in front of you who can't back up what they're saying, and he was very modest. If he tells you what he's done across this world economically and the people he's sat with, it would absolutely blow you away. And that's why when I was having lunch, I was sucking things out of him and all of this. Notice Linda, when she made the announcement yesterday in reference to the embassy about working with the Petrie brothers and all of that, that Atlanta or Lithonia, Decatur, was not their first city that they wanted to bring. They was going to start it somewhere else, and through the embassy, and they liked the relationship, and they did the work, and we came to an agreement, and so they made this area the first city. And you notice he said there's 9 more places, manufacturing places in this country they want to. I don't know if that's set in concrete yet or whatever, but if I was sitting here and I'm thinking about unemployment in my city, I wouldn't be just sitting here, you know, and saying, oh, that was interesting, all that. And he gave you another invitation, and with the embassy, it's already set up. The resources, if you come through, raise your hand, Ed, again. Our director and all of that, you talk to them after. All of this that we talk about is an opportunity for you. Like I said, we got to come together bone to bone, relationship. That's where we get strength. We cannot be little individual churches, and then if you got a line on something, you're going to shut up so you can try to beat everybody. That don't make sense. It means that we need to share our resources, and we're thinking in a different direction, another way. And when we do that and come together, that's kingdom. When we don't do that and you get a line on something, that's selfish and that's flesh. and it's really killing the body and choking it off. So everything that we're doing in a new way and fresh way of thinking and moving, we're going to tell you. We're not charging you for it. We just say, let's get it done. And we want to be able to go and tell the government what we're doing and say, look, here's the ideas that you need to implement. This is going to turn this country around. And we don't need anything because we already got it working. We already got it going on. We already have the resources, and we finally tapped in, because I never thought about it. You know, I'm always meeting folk after service just to hug them and kiss their babies and do this and do that, and I'm thinking I'm a good pastor instead of, you know, and that's good, but that's the way I've always done it. And you got half or two-thirds of your congregation inactive. You know, they're not going to be a deacon or usher and sing in the choir and stuff like that. They'll come in and they're going to leave, but they're brilliant, great minds. And so you can just ask, I want all my doctors or all my people in medical, meet me in the back for a few moments and give them a project. I want everybody that does engineering, meet me in the back. Spend 10 minutes, put somebody over it, give them a project. Let them think it out, work it out. We are not utilizing what we have. And then you have an embassy here and got people that have international connections and stuff and things and show you how to get money for stuff. I was sitting there struggling because we turned a hospital in Africa around in Kenya, and it was having 80% of the births were stillborn. And we took over the hospital. They named it after me. We've expanded it, and now 80% are alive, and we're getting better in the percentage of that, to the point that the government, I want you to hear this, to the point that in 2 weeks, the government of Kenya is flying in a delegation to award me with the highest award any civilian out of 5 in the history of Kenya for service to Kenya and blessing that. It didn't come because I went there with nothing. I took things to them. Now I know how to bring a whole lot of stuff to them and get it paid for, because I used to try to figure out how to get more equipment in the hospital, and I don't know how to get the money for it, and I don't want to keep begging church folk. And just that simple suggestion right there and where to go after it, it's already available, already there. And now more lives can be saved, the kingdom be advanced. There's a whole lot that just happened in this moment, and I don't want us to miss those things and go back to our individual kingdoms, et cetera, and say, well, they're doing something good. No, we're doing, this is not a new birth thing. We are the kingdom, and we want to do this, and we want to touch, and we want to make a difference, and we are the mighty remnant. We'll preach about the remnant. Well, this is the remnant of God, and we're coming together, and you got some great ideas, some things that need to be done, and we can come together more often and do some think tanking, and even in your community and where you are. So don't miss this. Please don't miss it. I wanted to say that. And now we got those delegates that have to go back over into the Family Life Center. Those who have joined us just for this session, I thank you for being with us. Our delegates, you got 15-minute break. There's some refreshments in the back where your books, et cetera, are. And in 15 minutes, we get started with Dr. Miles Monroe. Thank you all. God bless you. Hallelujah. Ed's not going to move too fast. If you want to talk to him, he's representing the embassy. Y'all need to come down here and talk. If you have a question, lay it on the altar, and somehow that you can get in touch with him. Yes, sir.